Hello, Laura, and thank you very much for agreeing doing this interview. So this is for She Can, where we really want to tell real stories of women for other women or girls, who inspire, who are inspired to listen to them and who are aspiring to have fulfilling careers. So we know each other from Walk the Talk, from our Shine program. We ran for 2 days. And so I got to know you a little bit, which is why I chose you. And my first question is really tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Perfect. So I'm Laura, and I am half Spanish, half Dutch, but sound American, which is really weird. And I'm based in London, and I am the SME for women's sports and fashion, Prism Sport and Entertainment, which is a sports marketing and entertainment agency. And my job as well is to also be a senior art director. So I'm also in the creative space. So I basically work with a lot of brands in the sports industry and entertainment industry spaces and help them create meaningful and impactful partnerships in that space.
Lovely. And how did you get there? Because that's quite a specific industry and quite a niche, really. So how did you get there?
Yeah, well, funny enough, I was I wasn't into women's sport myself because I was an elite athlete. So I played basketball at an elite level for many, many years in different capacities. I grew up in Spain, and I went to a specific athletic school there where I got into the elite athlete experience. Then I also went to the States. So I basically started off as a professional athlete myself. And unfortunately, as it so often happens with women in this space, I had to retire because financially it wasn't sustainable for me at that point. And I had to make a choice, which was to basically kind of drop that side of my life and develop my identity within sports differently. And therefore I started to work into marketing, and I kind of fell in love with it. I like the idea of narrating the stories and being behind the camera, if you like, of the sports scene. And here we are today, still working on women's sports, but rather than playing basketball on the court, I'm off the court telling the stories of the incredible athletes that are out and about today, which is great.
Yeah, but amazing, because you've been one of them. So you can really empathize and really understand what they're going through. That's amazing. So what were your main pitfalls? You already mentioned a few, and how did you navigate them?
Yeah, I suppose the first pitfall that I personally kind of went through was maybe a lack of identity. For many, many years, I grew up with a really clear understanding of this is who I am and this is what I do. And then when I had to kind of stop my career as a basketball player, I kind of lost my way a little bit.
Obviously.
I wasn't quite sure how would I introduce myself to someone. I used to be, oh, my name is Laura, I'm a basketball player. And now it's like, well, I'm no longer a basketball player. So who am I? What am I? And it was a bit of a transition into that moment of like, oh, where's my identity kind of going to, develop? So the way that I overcame that really it's actually recent. I'm in my mid-30s and I recently overcame it. So it kind of shows you that it takes time.
Yeah.
And I kind of understood that while I retired from becoming an athlete, it doesn't mean that I'm no longer an athlete. It's my identity just keeps building. It keeps growing. And like all people, you don't stop one moment and just become something else from one day to the next. There's layers. And I kind of understood that recently because I had a daughter myself. So I started looking into what her experience would be like in life. And I thought, I just never retired. I just transformed like energy, it never fades. It just transforms into something else. And that's kind of how I overcame that lost identity. It's just thinking that I didn't lose it. I just grew and I completed it with new things.
This is amazing, because I think when people lose their reference points, and I hear that a lot when I'm coaching women who have been made redundant, who have to look for a new job, and how much that affects your self-esteem, how much by not being able to have that sentences anymore, I am Laura from prison, and suddenly, it's just incredible. But I love the spin you gave that story. But I also want to know for everybody who is listening, that these changes in life, it takes a while to really, like you say, come up with your new identity and come up with the new you, and I have recently, my partner has retired and is obviously still there and helping me and running programs with me. But it's the same thing. I'm suddenly on my own and I'm getting lonely and I'm having doubts and I don't have that sparring partner anymore. And I just said to myself, I need a bit of self-love here because I cannot expect that what we used to do, the two of us, I can completely do on my own from day one,
Yep.
So I think
Exactly.
self-love and a bit of patience is really important.
Yeah,
So what is your, I can do the two questions together, I think. What is your main motivator and what do you think are your top qualities?
I think, so my main motivator, it might sound a bit almost too easy, but it's happiness.
Yeah.
It's happiness. It's if I'm happy doing what I'm doing, then I get motivated. I get up in the morning and I kind of get things done. And by no means do I say that I'm always happy. That is unachievable, let's say. And work is work, let's be honest. All of us would like to be in the Caribbean lounging rather than having to work all the time. But I do feel that whenever I feel that my work and my day-to-day, whether it's family life or my career, if I'm purpose-driven through happiness, something that satisfies me and makes me happy, it motivates me for the next day. It motivates me to take that next step, no matter how hard it is, no matter how difficult or complex it can be, which it can be in various moments in life. But for me, the main motivator is knowing that if I'm happy and I get up in the morning and that feeling of happiness is sustainable, then I'm on the right path. The moment I feel that the moment I feel detached, the moment I feel, this is not quite really fulfilling me, then I'm not saying, oh, quit, that's it. It's kind of taking a moment to say, let's evaluate that. Why am I not happy? Is it something that I'm not doing? Is it something that my surroundings are not doing for me?
Yeah.
What can I do to pivot and kind of find my way back to that feeling of, okay, this is good, I'm happy. So that would be my main motivator. And the second question was, what are my qualities, right? So I think empathy would be number one. I work in a team environment. So I am a creative, but I'm also working in strategy. But there are many things that I don't know how to do. I rely on other people's skill sets. So what I found to be really useful is empathizing with other people and knowing that even though I want one thing done immediately, that doesn't always happen and other people have other things going on. So I think empathy really works for me. I've found it to be very useful when trying to work in a team environment with projects that require multiple people. And when you find those moments of empathy, it really helps to get stuff done, but doing it in a humane way as well. And I think that's always been really useful for me. And I also think another quality of mine is resilience, which I think comes from my sporting days. It's finding adversity almost like alluring and be like, yeah, bring it on, like it's a bit of like, I suppose a bit masochistic depending on how you think about it. But for me, the resilient part of my personality has really put me through moments where other people may have quit. And for me, it was more of a moment of, if I get through this, then I'll be able to get to this point, or I'll be able to ask this person for this favor, or I'll be able to command this opinion, And I think that I've had other circumstances where actually giving up has been the right decision. But I think for me, my resilience has always given me a lot more opportunities of choice, which I think is really good.
So you will put your daughter that has been born 15 months ago through, you say, go and do sports and learn that empathy and that resilience.
Yes. And I would also add to that, quit on a good day. If you quit on a good day, then it's time to go.
Yeah.
But if you quit on a bad day, then you may have quit because things got a little bit hard,
Yeah.
And if you're having a brilliant day, if you're having a great moment, whether it's sports, whether it's your career, whatever it is, and you still have that feeling of, I know it was a good day, but I still am not feeling it. I really don't want to do this. Then that, it's a good moment to quit, move on, pivot. But if you quit on a bad day, sometimes it may happen that it was just a bad day.
Yeah.
So that resilience pays off.
That's already a top tip for other women, or do you have more?
I would say top tip, quit on a good day if that's what you want to do. And also, I think another top tip that I have found, especially in my career, is that inspiration doesn't always come from above. And what I mean by that is that a lot of us grow up thinking that we have to look up to people. You have to find that inspiration for the people who've reached those milestones that you want to reach. And what I found is that a lot of the most inspiring people and the most inspiring moments that I found is by looking around me, looking around my girlfriends, my family, people who are going through the same struggles as me or going through a different version of it. And I think that has really helped me build a network of strong women and strong contacts that are rooting for my success and that are helping me get there. Because yes, it's easier to ask for someone to pull you up. But, it's really cool when you've got an army of women around you kind of like going through those stages with you. And so, yes, I think one of my top tips is find inspiration around you, not only above you.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I get a lot of my work from people like you, who recommend me, to their girlfriends or to clients. Good. Any plans, goals, dreams for your future?
Oh, so many. We would not have enough time. I think
we're both coughing. That's okay.
Yeah, I know, winter, right? I think my biggest plan and goal in general is to continue to grow women's sports and to have an influence with my skill sets today, and influence it in a way that's positive, in a way that hopefully also helps society and our culture kind of balance out. And ultimately, the dream would be for my daughter, Alexia, right, to get rewarded and to be able to live to that positivity and hopefully enjoy the results. That would be great.
Lovely. Oh, that is so inspirational. So I really want to thank you. And I can't believe you just did that off the cuff. I mean, so
Thank
good.
you.
So thank you very much, Laura. And we will speak later. But thanks a lot for giving me your time.
Great. Thank you.